Hello, Shalom. Welcome to day 57 of Daily Bread. Sorry this is late. Thought I already did it. We'll be reading in Exodus 18, 1 Samuel 18, Psalm 62, Proverbs 26, and Luke 6. We'll be in the Scriptures 2009 version. Exodus 18 on page 75. And Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moshe's father-in-law, heard of all that Elohim had done for Moshe and for Israel, his people, that Yahweh had brought Israel out of Mitzrayim. And Jethro, Moshe's father-in-law, took Sephora, the wife of Moshe, after he had sent her back, and her two sons, of whom the name one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a sojourner in a foreign land. And the name of the other was Eleazar, for he said, the Elohim of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moshe's father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moshe in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of Elohim. And he had said to Moshe, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and her two sons with her. And Moshe went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. And they asked each other about their welfare, and they went into the tent. And Moshe told his father-in-law all that Yahweh had done to Pharaoh and to the Mitzrayim for Israel's sake, all the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how Yahweh had delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the good which Yahweh had done for Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Mizrahites. And Jethro said, Blessed be Yahweh, for he has delivered you out of the hand of the Mizrahites, and out of the hand of the Pharaoh. And who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Mizrahites? Now I know that Yahweh is greater than all the mighty ones, indeed, in the manner in which they acted proudly above them all. Then Jethro, the father-in-law of Moshe, brought an ascending offering and a slaughtering offering, and other slaughterings unto Elohim. And Aharon came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with the father-in-law of Moshe before Elohim. And it came to be on the next day that Moshe sat to rightly rule the people. And the people stood before Moshe from the morning until evening. And when the father-in-law of Moshe saw all that he did for the people, he said, What is this you are doing for the people? Why do you sit by yourself, and all the people stand before you from morning until evening? And Moshe said to his father-in-law, Because the people come to me to seek Elohim. When they have a matter, they come to me, and I rightly rule between one and another, and make known the laws of Elohim and his Torah. And the father-in-law of Moshe said to him, What you are doing is not good. Both you and these people with you shall certainly wear yourselves out, for the matter is too heavy for you. You are not able to do it by yourself. One could argue that he's not. He's doing it with Yah. But anyway, but he's right. Now listen to my voice. Let me counsel you, and Elohim be with you. Stand before Elohim for the people, and you shall bring the matters to Elohim, and you shall enlighten them concerning the laws and the Torah, and show them the way in which they should walk, and the work which they do. But you yourself seek out from all the people able men who fear Elohim, men of truth, hating unfair gain, and placed these over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers over tens. And they shall rightly rule the people at all times. And it shall be that they bring every great matter to you, but they themselves rightly rule every matter small matter. So make it lighter for yourself, so that they shall bear with you. If you do this word, and Elohim shall command you, then you shall be able to stand, and all his people also go to other great places in peace. And Moshe listened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did as he said. And Moshe chose able men out of all Israel, and made them heads over all the people, rulers over thousands, rulers over hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they rightly ruled the people at all times. The hard matters they brought to Moshe, but they rightly ruled every small matter themselves. And Moshe sent his father-in-law, and he went away to his own land. 1 Samuel 18 on page 300. And it came to be, when he had ended speaking to Samuel, that the being of Joshua was knit in Samuel 18. And it came to be, when he had ended speaking to Shaul, that the being of Jonathan was knit to the being of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own being. And Shaul took him that day, and would not let him return to his father's house anymore. And Jonathan and David made a covenant, because he loved him as his own being. And Jonathan took off the robe that was on him, and gave it to David, and his garments, even his sword, and his bow, and his girdle. And David went out wherever Shaul sent him. He acted wisely, and Saul set him over the men of battle, and it was right in the eyes of the people, and also in the eyes of Shaul's servants. And it came to be, as they came in, as David was returning from striking the Philistine, that the women came out from all the cities of Israel, singing and dancing to meet Shaul the sovereign with tambourines, with joy, and with musical instruments. And the women sang as they danced, and said, Shaul struck his thousands, and David his 10,000s. And Shaul was very wroth, and this matter was evil in his eyes. And he said, to David they have given 10,000s, and to me they have given 1,000. So what more for him except the rain? And from that day on, Shaul eyed David. And it came to be on the next day, that an evil spirit from Elohim came upon Shaul, and he prophesied inside the house, while David was playing the lyre with his hand, as usual. And the spear was in the hand of Shaul. Then Shaul hurled the spear, for he said, let me strike David even to the wall. But twice David withdrew from his presence. And Shaul was afraid of David, because Yahweh was with him. But from Shaul he had turned away. And Shaul therefore removed him from his presence, and made him his commander over 1,000. And he went out and came in before the people. And David was acting wisely in all his ways, and Yahweh was with him. And Shaul saw that he was acting very wisely, and was afraid of him. But all Israel and Judah loved David, and he went out and came in before them. And Shaul said to David, "See my older daughter Merab? I give her to you as a wife. Only be brave for me and fight the battles of Yahweh." For Shaul thought, "Let not my hand be against him, but let the hand of the Philistines be against him." And David said to Shaul, "Who am I, and what is my life or my father's clan in Israel, that I should be the son-in-law to the sovereign?" And it came to be at that time, when Merab, Shaul's daughter, should have been given to David, that she was given to Adriah the Metholam as a wife. And Michal, Shaul's daughter, loved David. And they told Shaul, and the matter was right in his eyes. And Shaul said, "Let me give her to him, and let her be a snare to him, and the hand of the Philistines be against him." So that Shaul said to David a second time, "Become my son-in-law today." And Shaul commanded his servants, "Speak to David gently and say, See, the sovereign has delighted in you, and all his servants have loved you. And now be the sovereign's son-in-law." And the servants of Shaul spoke those words in the hearing of David. And David said, "Does it seem to you a small matter to be a sovereign's son-in-law, seeing I am a poor man and lightly esteemed?" And the servant of Shaul told him, saying, "David has spoken according to these words." And Shaul said, "Say to David, the sovereign has no delight in any payment for the bride, but 100 foreskins of the Philistines to be avenged on the sovereign's enemies." But Shaul intended for David to fall by the hand of the Philistines. And his servants declared these words to David, and it pleased David well to become the sovereign's son-in-law, and the days had not expired. And David arose and went, he and his men, and struck 2,000 men of the Philistines. And David brought their foreskin back, and set them before the sovereign, to become the sovereign's son-in-law. And Shaul gave him Michal, his daughter, as a wife. And Saul saw and knew that Yahweh was with David, and Michal, daughter of Shaul, did love him. So then Shaul was still more afraid of David, and Saul came to be an enemy of David all the days. And the princes of the Philistines went out to fight, and it came to be, whenever they went out to fight, that David acted more wisely than all the servants of Shaul, so that his name came to be very precious. The end of Samuel 18, verse 19. Psalms 62 on page 679. My being finds rest in Elohim alone. For him is my deliverance. He alone is my rock and my deliverance, my strong tower. I am greatly shaken. How long will you shout at a man? Murder, like a leaning wall, a tottering fence. They plotted to topple him from his high position. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouths, but in their hearts they curse. Salah. My being find rest in Elohim alone, because my expectation is from him. He alone is my rock and my deliverance and my strong tower. I am not shaken. My deliverance and my esteem, glory depend on Elohim. The rock of my strength, my refuge, is in Elohim. Trust in him at all times, you people. Pour out your heart before him. Elohim is a refuge to us, Salah. Sons of Adam are but a breath. Sons of men are a lie. If weighted in the scales, they are together lighter in breath lighter than breath. Do not trust in oppression, and do not come in vain in robbery. If riches increase, do not set your heart on them. Elohim has spoken. Twice I have heard this, that strength belongs to Elohim, and loving commitment is yours, O Yahweh, for you reward each one according to his work. Proverbs 26 on page 752. Like snow in summer and snow and rain in harvest, so esteem is not fitting for a fool. As a bird wanders, as a shadow flies about, so a curse without cause does not come. A whip for a horse, and a bridle for a donkey, and a rod for the fool's back. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you become like them. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he become wise in his own eyes. He who sends a messenger by the hand of a fool cuts off feet and drinks damage. The legs of the lame hang limp. So is a proverb in the mouth of fools. Like one binding a stone in a sling, so is he who gives esteem to a fool. A thorn goes into the hand of a drunkard, so is a proverb in the mouth of fools. An archer who wounds anyone is he who hires a fool or a passerby? As a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. Have you seen a man wise in his own eyes? There is more expectancy for a fool than for him. The lazy one says, there is a lion in the way, a fierce lion in the streets. As the door turns on its hinges, so does the lazy one turn on his own bed. The lazy one buries his hand in a dish. It tires him to bring it back to his mouth. The lazy one is wiser in his own eyes than 7 rendering advice. A passerby meddling in a strife. A passerby meddling in a strife, not his own, is like one who takes hold of a dog by its ears. Like a madman who throws sparks, arrows, and death. So was a man who deceived his neighbor, and saying, I was only joking. For lack of wood the fire goes out, and without a slanderer strife ceases. As charcoal is to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a slanderer are as dainty morsels, which go down into the innermost parts of the heart. Burning lips with an evil heart are like an earthenware covered with the silver dross. He who hates pretends with his lips, and lays up deceit within him. Though he speaks kindly, do not believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Hatred is covered by deceit. His evil is disclosed in the assembly. Whoever digs a pit falls into it, and whoever rolls a stone, it turns back on him. A lying tongue hates its bruised ones, but a flattering mouth works ruin. Luke 6 on page 989. A little bit of water here. And it came to be on a Sabbath, Shabbat, that he went through grain fields, and his taught ones were plucking the heads of grain, and were eating, rubbing them with their hands. And some of the Pharisees said to them, Why are you doing what is not right to do on the Sabbath? And Yeshua answering them said, have you not read what David did when he was hungry, and those who were with him? How he went into the house of Elohim, took and ate the showbread, and also gave it to some of those who were with him, which is not right for any but the priests to eat. And he said to them, the son of Adam is the master of the Sabbath. And it also came to be on another Sabbath that he entered into the congregation and taught. And there was a man whose right hand was withered. And the scribes and Pharisees were watching him closely, whether he would heal on the Sabbath, for them to find an accusation against him. And he knew their thoughts, and said to the man who had the withered hand, rise and stand in the midst. And he rose and stood up. And Yeshua said to them, I ask you, is it right to do good on the Sabbath, or to do evil to save a life, or to destroy it? And looking around at them all, he said to them, stretch out your hand. And he did so, and his hand was restored, sound as the other. But they were filled with folly, and speaking with one another that what they should do to Yeshua. And in those days it came to be, he went out to the mountain to pray, and was spending the night in prayer to Elohim. And when it became day, he called near his taught ones, and chose from them 12, whom he also named emissaries. Simon, whom he also named Kepha, Peter, and his brother Andre, and James, and John, Philip, and Bartholomew, Matthew, and Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, and Shimon, the one called the Ardent One, and Judah, the son of Jacob, and Judah from Arachireth, Judas also became the betrayer, And coming down with them, he stood on a level place with a crowd of his taught ones, and a great number of people from all of Judea and Jerusalem, and from the coast country of Soar and Sidon, who came to hear him and to be healed of their diseases, and those who were troubled with unclean spirits, and they were healed. And all the crowd were seeking to touch him, for power went out from him, and healing them. He, lifting up his eyes toward his taught ones, said, blessed are the poor, because yours is in the reign. Blessed are the poor, because yours is the reign of Elohim. Blessed are you who hunger now, because you shall be satisfied. Blessed are you who weep now, because you shall laugh. Blessed are you when men shall hate you, and when they should cut you off, and you shall reproach you, and cast out your name as wicked for the sake of the Son of Adam. Rejoice in that day, and leap for joy, for look, your reward is great in heaven, for that is how their fathers treated the prophets. But woe to you who are rich, because you are receiving your comfort. Woe to you who have filled, because you are hungry. Who have been filled because you are hungry. Woe to you who are laughing now, because you shall mourn and weep. Woe to you when all men speak well of you, for thus their fathers did to the false prophets. But I say to you who are hearing, love your enemies, do good to those hating you, bless those cursing you, and pray for those insulting you. And to him who hits you on one cheek, offer the other also. And from him who takes away your outer garment, do not withhold your inner garment either. And give to everyone who asks of you. And from him who takes away what is yours, do not ask it back. And as you wish men should do to you, you also do to them in the same way. And if you love those loving you, what favor have you? For sinners too, love those loving them. And if you do good to those doing good to you, what favor have you? For even sinners do the same. And if you lend to those whom you expect to receive back, what favor have you? For even sinners lead to sinners to receive as much back, rather than your enemies, and not good, and lend expecting none in return. For your reward shall be great, and you shall be sons of the Most High, because he is kind to the thankless and wicked ones. Therefore, be compassionate, and your Father also is compassionate. And do not judge, and you shall not be judged. Condemn not, and you shall not be condemned at all. Forgive, and you shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given to you. A good measure, pressed down and shaken together, running over shall be put into your lap. For with the same measure with which you measure, it shall be measured back to you. And he spoke a parable to them. Is a blind able to lead blind? Shall they not both fall into a pit? The taught one is not above his teacher, but everyone perfected shall be like his teacher. And why do you see the splinter in your brother's eye, but unaware of the plank in your own eye? Or how are you able to say to your brother, Brother, let me take out the splinter that is in your eye, not seeing the plank in your eye? Hypocrite, first take out the plank of your own eye, and then you shall see clearly to take out the splinter that is in your brother's eye. For a good tree does not yield rotten fruit, nor does a rotten fruit yield good fruit. For each tree is known by its own fruit, for they do not gather figs from thorns, nor do they gather grapes from a bramble bush. The good man brings forth what is good out of the good treasure of his heart, and the wicked man brings forth what is wicked out of the wicked of his treasure. Treasure of his heart. For out of the overflow of the heart his mouth speaks. But why do you call me master, master, and do not do what I say? Everyone is coming to me and hearing my words and is doing them. I shall show you whom he is like. He is like a man building a house who has dug deep and laid a foundation on the rock. And when a flood came, the stream burst against the house, but it was unable to shake it, for it was found on the rock. But the one hearing and not going is like a man who built a house on the earth without a foundation, against which the stream burst, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of it, and the ruin of the house was great. Thank you for listening. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible and talk to the Father.